Okay, this is the Long Island Railroad station at Westhampton, Long Island, New York, Suffolk County. We're about 70 miles east of Midtown Manhattan, New York City. 72 miles, something like that. I am the only one here. Now, there's a few people. However, this is going to get very crowded very shortly as people come in to pick up the passengers off of this train. And the train will be arriving in about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. And when you see the crowd that gets off this train tonight, you'll be amazed. This is a Friday afternoon weekend train, runs express from Penn Station in Manhattan. Its first stop here is Westhampton, and then it continues on to Southampton, Bridgehampton, Easthampton, and Montauk. The train is known as the Cannonball, and it runs on Friday evenings from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend, carrying weekend visitors to the east end of Long Island, to the Hamptons. So it's a 12-car set. Hi, morning, afternoon. It's on time according to the schedule. No, I don't know anything about trains in Orlando, Florida. Can't help you with that regard. Only here on Long Island, New York. Long Island Railroad is now part of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, and it runs trains between New York City and the eastern tips of Long Island, primarily a commuter line. However, where we are, which is considered resort area, vacation area, Friday afternoon and evening they run many trains out to the Montauk. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a siding or a bypass track. Well, yeah, I kind of enjoy doing the videos of the trains, and I've been a Long Island Railroad rider all of my life. I was taken for my first LIRR trip when I was 3 years old in 1943. I've been using the railroad all my life. I was a commuter for a while to New York City, and I use the railroad for pleasure trips now because, quite honestly, folks, it's a lot easier to take the train than it is to drive to New York City. Well, I'm a grandfather age, so the train is very convenient for my frequent trips to New York, and reasonably priced with senior citizen tickets which they offer. So here we are, Long Island Railroad, Westhampton Station, in round numbers 72 miles east of Midtown Manhattan. This is train number 2798, and it's the only named train. Cannonball. Well, for the most part, they're on time. This one is. They make sure this train is on time because it is extremely crowded. They'll have close to 2,000 people on this train coming out from New York City tonight, and most Friday nights in the summer season. The train operates with two dual mode diesel electrics. In other words, they run on a third rail power to get them through the East River tunnels, and then once they're clear of the East River tunnels, they're in Queens, and they switch over to diesel power to power the train. There's an engine leading, and there's an engine in trail, and there are 12 Kawasaki C3 bi-level passenger cars. Each bi-level passenger car carries approximately 164 people. Running 7 minutes late, okay. They haven't made any announcements here to that effect, but we'll just keep watching. I'm looking west now, up Long Island, back toward New York City. The posted scheduled departure time for the train from here to Montauk is 5:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So he usually arrives around 5:38, 5:40, unless they're running late. 7 minutes late, that's going to take us more like 5:45 to 5:50 tonight. This train is also noted, Cannonball, in that it has what they call Hampton's Reserve Service. The first 3 C3 cars of the 12-car set are the Hampton's Reserve Service, which means they have reserved seats. So on top of the normal one-way peak fare of $29.25 from New York to here to Westhampton, you would pay another $24 or $25 for a reserved seat. So everybody gets seats in those cars. There are no standing allowed in the Hamptons Reserve cars. People book them well in advance. They book them for the season, but they don't necessarily use them every weekend. So sometimes these 3 Hamptons Reserve cars only operate between 60 and 75% capacity. Now the 9 other C3s are packed. Every seat is usually taken, and there's standing room only, standing in the vestibules at the end of each car. So we'll see this when the folks get off here. Well, I appreciate that. You're welcome for scoping. I really enjoy doing these types of videos. Long Island Railroad, trains, my trips to New York City, my walking trips in the city itself. If you like what you see, follow me on Periscope and Twitter. Redstone Soldier, all one word. That's my handle on Periscope and Twitter. No, not anymore. They did at one time run freight trains out this way. They're not really huge freight trains, but that was discontinued some time ago. There are freight trains that run on the main line, which runs down the spine of Long Island, out to, let me think about where it is, Holtzville, Holbrook area. There's a freight yard there, and the outfit is called New York and Atlantic Railway. They have the subcontract to operate the freight cars, and it's primarily bulk items like lumber cars, bringing lumber supplies and everything to the lumber yards out here. A lot of aggregate type material, stones, rocks, things that people use for building, for roads, all that kind of stuff. Yes, it's not a stupid question. That's an excellent question. Amtrak, A-M-T-R-A-K, is the national railway system of the United States, quasi-government organization, and it runs trains from New York's Penn Station to the south, to Florida, by way of the East Coast stations, like you'd go through Washington D.C., Richmond, Virginia, etc., down the coast. And they also run trains to the Midwest, to Chicago, and then you would change at Chicago to the Amtrak trains that run between Chicago and the West Coast, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle. So there is the national railway system, as I say, a quasi-governmental operation funded in part by the government, funded also by, obviously, passenger fares. So if you're thinking of coming to New York first, you can get a train from New York to Miami. Probably one or two a day. I don't know. They're not running every hour on the hour or anything like that. But do a Google search for Amtrak, AMTRAK, and it'll give you all the information you need about traveling on long-distance trains in the USA. Well, overnight, 36 hours maybe, that's a guess on my part. They also have a service that outside of Washington, D.C., you can load your vehicle onto a special cars that carry automobiles, and then they travel overnight to Florida. So then people get sleeper cars, or they just sleep in the coach cars or things like that. So let's say in round numbers 36 hours between New York City and Miami. Again, the Amtrak site would give you all those details. I don't know the costs or anything, but it varies with season. Yeah, well, you're quite welcome. Quite welcome. But this is the Long Island Railroad prime. Here we listen to this one.
The 5:41 p.m. train to Montauk is expected to arrive on track 1, platform A, in approximately 6 minutes.
Okay. There's our cookbook statement, 6 minutes. And there's usually a delay time in reality versus when they make those announcements, so he could be a little less than 6 minutes away. Someone asked me earlier if this was a bypass siding, and yes, it is siding here. Not really used that much anymore, but used on occasions for unscheduled meets of an eastbound train and a westbound train here in single-track diesel territory. The train crew would have to get off the train and actually throw the switches. Up to a year ago, they had to do it manually by throwing a lever. Now they're all electric controlled, so they can hit an electric switch and the switch will change. Let me just pan around here because I'm looking directly into the sun. I can't see all of the comments, and I apologize for that. All right, here's looking east at Westhampton Station. This is an 8-car platform. It'll platform 8 of these Kawasaki C3 bi-level cars. And since the train is 12 cars long, then the crew will get passengers off the first 8 cars, then they'll conduct a double stop. In other words, they'll move the train forward so the rear 4 C3 cars platform, and then they'll open up those doors and the people in the rear 4 C3s will get off. And they do that at all the stations here, between here and Montauk. Again, after Westhampton, it'll stop at Southampton, Bridgehampton, Easthampton, and Montauk. Now those platforms are only for 6 cars. I'm not sure about Montauk. That may be a 8 or 10 car platform. Because an airplane flying out of Gabreski Airport here at Suffolk County Airport in Westhampton. Yeah, well, penny-wise and pound foolish. Well, this is the only 12-car train that runs nominally. Most of the diesel sets are a maximum of 8 passenger cars, and during the off hours, midday hours and weekdays and everything, the trains usually run with only 4 passenger cars. When they run with 4, they only run with 1 engine, a puller engine eastbound, and then a pusher engine westbound. So the rear car is what they call a C3 cab car. So the engineer operates from a cab in the front end of the passenger car when it's heading westbound, and the diesel engine then pushes the train back westward. When they run with 6 or more cars, then they have the 2 diesel engines. Well, I should say 7 or more, because I have seen single engine operation with 6 passenger cars. Here comes the train. I have the lights, headlights. It's just crossing Old Country Road in Westhampton, about a mile to the west of us, and the train will be here within the minute. I'm not going to bother with zooming in and zooming out, because I get myself in trouble with my iPhone 7 here doing that. Sometimes I can zoom in and then I have trouble zooming out again. So let's just leave it the way it is. We'll see all the action when the train gets here. Again, these engines are EMD DM30 ACs. We'll get the numbers. So in other words, they run both on third rail power in the city and diesel power out here in the diesel territory. And the railroad also operates DE30 ACs, which are strictly diesel engines. So they cannot go through the tunnels into Manhattan. Let me set up to get you a good view here. Cannonball with the Cannonball logo on the front. He's signaling us now. That's my engineer there. 505. Non-stop express from Penn Station to Westhampton in 90 minutes. All right, yeah, double deck. Here's the first 8 cars. Here's my main man, the conductor. This gentleman operates this train almost every Friday night. One of the senior conductors of the fleet. Good evening again. Great to see you again. Standing room only, folks. Okay, here we go.
Overcrowded. You getting on? Yeah. Yeah. Just give it a minute, right? We'll get you on.
No worries. No worries. We won't leave without us, right?
Okay, standing room only. The first 8 cars. Then they're going to double platform, bring the next 4 cars forward. So here we are, Westhampton, the arrival of the Cannonball on July 13th. Again, SRO. Folks waiting to get on the train to head east to Montauk and the other Hamptons. Okay. No, not every door. The conductor runs most of the doors. There's probably half a dozen assistant conductors and ticket collectors. We'll see in a few minutes here when the train runs forward. There's also a maintenance of equipment crew that rides in the rear engine in the event that there are any mechanical or electrical problems, and they'll be right on top of that. Okay. Standing room only, even in the conductor's vestibule here tonight. Take care. Keep your spirits up. All right, the conductor is moving the train forward now so that the rear 4 C3 cars will platform. He's a good man, this gentleman who operates this train, one of their senior staff. I hear the rear engine. Oh my goodness, I see every seat is taken and every vestibule is filled. 512. Hey, how are you guys? There's our maintenance crew. MOE, they call them. Maintenance of equipment. So they ride in the rear car in the event of any problems. Alright, there's the Cannonball logo on the trail locomotive DM30AC512. And now the people are getting off the rear 4 C3 bi-level cars. We'll stay right here. There's also a route manager up in the lead engine with the engineer. I guess they, someone who's actually in charge of the entire train, makes any command decisions. Again, as I say, you're close to 2,000 people on this train. But you'll see the crowd here, folks. We'll stay with the train, and when he departs, I'll show you the action here in the Westhampton parking lot. Long Island Railroad train 2798, the Cannonball. Friday night summer train from Penn Station to the Hamptons and Montauk. Express from Penn Station to Westhampton. Departs Penn Station at 4:06 p.m. and departs Westhampton at 5:41 p.m. Quite a crowd getting off tonight. I would say just as many, almost as many as the Friday before the 4th of July. Of course, we have the picture-perfect weather forecast for the weekend for the Hamptons, so I can see why people are coming out. Take care. Good guys, good crew. They make sure this train operates with no problems. All right, next stop, Southampton, followed by Bridgehampton, East Hampton, and Montauk. Now let's show you the parking lot here at Westhampton. And the station is in the unincorporated area of Westhampton, and immediately to the south of the station across the road is the village boundary for the incorporated village of Westhampton Beach. So these folks a lot of them are all going to Westhampton Beach and over to Dune Road to the Ocean homes. The homes along the Dune Road, which is oceanfront property. So we're in Westhampton, and 100 feet in front of me is Westhampton Beach. Beep, beep, beep. How do you like it? How do you like it? We're looking south down Depot Road. It's about 3/4 of a mile down to Montauk Highway. You can see how it's backed up. I'm sorry I'm missing the comments, folks. I'll check it out when I'm home. And then the road immediately to the right over there is Station Road.
I live like less than an hour.
I'm staying right where I am because my truck is over there on the other side of the parking lot, and there's no way in heck that I'm going to get out of here for the next 5 to 8 minutes or so. So we let everybody leave, and then we'll hop in our truck and we'll head home. Crash. I have a Ford pickup over there, 2018 Ford F-150. But we're not going anywhere for the next 5 minutes, folks. We just share this business with you. The train itself is interesting enough, but this is classic. Yeah, it'll be a busy weekend, busy town, and of course this is the resort area, the so-called famous Hamptons of eastern Long Island. Everybody and his brother and sister come out here from the city for a weekend in the Hamptons, and Montauk, which is the end of the island. Montauk Point is about 130 miles east of New York City, the eastern tip of Long Island. Yeah, Friday night there'll be another 5 or 6 or so trains to Montauk. The next one arrives here about 6:30, and it's the regular Monday to Friday New York City to Montauk train, which on a Friday night will be packed. And then there's another one at 7:30, 8:30, on and on like that, right through midnight. Because I think the next westbound train out of here is not until 11 or 11:30 tonight in this single track territory. So they're all eastbound on a Friday night, bringing the people to the Hamptons and Montauk for the weekend. And then Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, the reverse happens. And everybody heads back to New York City. I'm going to plan a trip to New York on Sunday morning, go in on an early train and then come home by noon. So maybe we'll get to do a live broadcast in the city on Sunday. I hope to do that. Still can't get out of here yet, folks. I don't normally scope on the train itself. Sometimes I do. I usually scope just before boarding a train in the station to the west of us, which is Spionk Station, or if I'm boarding the train in Penn Station coming home on an eastbound train. Here we are. All right, I'm going to say it's clear enough for me to get over there now and get in my truck, which is over there on the other side behind this all-county gray van here. So thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. My pleasure indeed. And thank you for joining me from the UK tonight. Really great, since you're up late now, after 11 p.m. Okay, folks. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you on next live broadcast.